So today I want to show you my favorite leg workout to grow a booty, to have a peach. It's a little bit before 6 a.m. and my boyfriend and Bowie are still sleeping, so I'm gonna talk a little bit more quiet. I'm about to head to the gym. I just made myself a very quick pre-workout snack because I just need to eat something for a workout. I quickly mashed some bananas and put it on a toast. I usually just use jam or peanut butter and jam or something like that, but we have so many bananas at home, so I was like, I'm gonna try that. This is like the worst lighting ever, but this is all I have. Quickly gonna have my pre-workout before going inside because I am barely awake, I'm barely alive. I start off every leg day with some warm-up exercises. I'm just doing a few dynamic stretches. I usually always do the same 4 to 5 exercises. I usually just listen to a song and at that time I complete my warm-up. And then we're starting with the first exercise, which is my favorite exercise for growing your booty, which is hip thrusts. And I'm gonna show you how I set them up for short girlies. We're gonna take a plate because my gym doesn't have anything lower than these high benches, and if you're short like me, you will need this to be high enough for the bench. Then I start by putting on plates onto the barbell, usually a weight that I can lift down because I feel like this is the easiest way to set up the hip thrust. And then I take a small plate, like a 125 kg plate, roll it onto the plate. I have another leg day where I'm showing this you more in detail, and then I'm just gonna put the heavier weight onto the barbell. Sorry for the bad lighting, it's gonna be gone within a few seconds, but you can see that I have these 5 kg plates on the floor to roll the bar onto these plates, because if you're sitting on the plate, you will not be able to put the barbell over your hips without the other plates where you can roll the weights on. It sounds very complicated. I have another leg day video where I'm showing you this in more details if you want to see that. And honestly, I know this takes a long time, but if you have a proper setup for hip thrusts, if you have the perfect setup, your hip thrusts are gonna be so much better, so much more effective. You're gonna feel it in your glutes. It's gonna be burning, and I absolutely love this setup. You can totally also use a machine if your gym has a machine, if your gym has anything lower than these benches, and you can also do this on the Smith machine, which I also sometimes do. I personally like to switch between the Smith machine and the barbell. I feel like I feel both exercises very different in my glutes. And I remove everything the exact same way, the way I set it up. And then we move to the next exercise, which is also such an amazing exercise for growing a booty, and this is RDLs. I'm doing a little test here to make sure that I'm in proper form, and then I start with a light weight just to ensure, you know, I'm having correct form before loading it on with more weight. I don't always do this. Sometimes I like to start with more weight and then increase the weight during the sets. My biggest tips for RDLs is to make sure that your core is very engaged, very embraced, because otherwise this is gonna hurt in your lower back. And another thing is, when you go down into the RDL, focus on pushing your hips back. What I like to do is I focus on my heels to make sure that the weight is pushing into my heels, and then when you pull up, make sure that you're pulling through your glutes, like really pop your glutes, engage your glutes, and not through your lower back. You also don't have to go that low. You can test how low you can go before you start noticing that you are engaging your back, because I feel like this is a mistake I made for a very long time, that I just went too low and then I could feel my back. I'm also using some lifting straps because I have very weak wrists. I know that the straps make them even weaker, but I cannot lift this weight without the straps, and then I just focus on my hands and then I lose the grip and then I cannot lift it anymore. So I highly recommend lifting straps if you feel like you cannot hold the barbell properly anymore. And all you do is pretty much focus on how you hold the barbell and not the exercise itself. And I also don't wear any shoes in my hip thrusts and in my RDLs because I feel like I have a better grip on the floor. If you've never tried this, highly recommend. I absolutely love doing it without shoes. And then we move on to a single leg exercise, which is so important to balance out imbalance, to make sure that both of your legs have the same power, same strength. Yeah, that's a better word. And one of my favorite exercises is step-ups. I love step-ups. I also hate them because they burn so much. And I use this platform. You can totally use a bench if your gym doesn't have that. My biggest tip for step-ups is to hold
onto something. Also leaning back a little bit. Just make sure that you're not pulling yourself up with your arm, obviously. You only want to press through your working leg, and then I usually have the barbell, or in this case even kettlebells, because I prefer having them with this exercise, and then just press with the foot that is on the bench, on the platform, whatever. Then when you go down, make sure that you're slowing down the exercise and really feeling the stretch. And only, like I said, only pushing and working with your working leg. The other leg is just for assistance. Then we're doing a superset to save some time because I have to go to work after my morning workout, and I do some sitting hamstring curls. I also love doing them lying down, whatever you prefer. The only tip I have is just to make sure that you're really squeezing your hamstrings when you are going down, or like also with the leg curls. You know, when you are at the end of the position, I'm not sure how you explain that, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Just make sure that you're really squeezing your hamstrings. And then we have some cable side kicks. I like to do some isolation exercises like the hamstring curl, like the side kicks, maybe the hyperextension, really focusing on my hamstrings and on my glutes at the end of my workout. It's also a little bit of a lighter exercise. I love doing them for a little bit of the side glutes, and that is pretty much my entire leg workout. And by that time, I'm sure your booty is burning and almost falling off.
Well, that was an intense session. I always have a post-workout shake, like immediately after my workout. I know I didn't film it, but I always have a shake. I just have my protein powder and then I pour a little bit of water into my shaker and drink it. Now I'm heading to work, got ready in the gym, and I'm gonna have my breakfast there. And I'm actually trying something completely new today. If you've ever watched any of my videos, you know that I eat oats pretty much all the time. I cannot eat eggs, and at the moment I also wouldn't have time to make eggs, so oats for me, it's easy, it keeps me full, and it's super cheap. I usually always had warm oats in winter and then overnight oats in summer. Now for work I also always had like cold overnight oats, and honestly I love overnight oats. Last week I tried baked oats for the first time, but honestly I'm not the biggest fan, but I need to give it another try because I think I messed it up. Today I'm gonna try something completely new, which is also overnight oats, but it's warm. So you pretty much prep everything, but you don't put a liquid inside like the milk or the water, whatever you make it with. You do this on the day that you eat it. So I prepped everything into a jar, and now I'm gonna put milk inside, and then I'm gonna put it in the microwave at work. I'm really curious how this is gonna be, and I also made some apples, like some cinnamon brown sugar apples. I fried them in a pan because I've been craving this for so long, and I think it's such a wintry, Christmassy thing, and I wanted to do this for the longest time, so I was like, let's try this both in combination for this week. Lunch. I cannot talk that loud because I have no idea who is walking by where I'm sitting. So this is my meal prep lunch, and there's just a bunch of lettuce on top because my lunch box is not big enough. A few cucumbers on top. I have mayo and barbecue sauce, and then down there we have a red cabbage. I just buy this frozen. It is so good. I love it so much. Then we have some rice and tofu. And you can totally make this with chicken instead of tofu. This is one of my favorite meal preps because it's so easy to make, it's quick to make, and I just love the combination of the ingredients, even though it sounds really weird with the red cabbage, barbecue, and mayo combination, but I swear the combination is what makes it. I used to make this with wraps, but not wrap it, but make it in a bowl. But now I feel like it's hard to take this with me because the wrap is too big for my meal prep box, so I just make rice, and I don't want to wrap so many wraps. How many times can you say wrap in a sentence? I always meal prep on Sunday for the entire week, like breakfast, lunch, and then tonight I'm gonna make dinner for the week, which I usually sometimes make for the entire week, sometimes just for a few days. It depends. I also always have a Coke Zero with me because I need something to keep me awake. And I feel like when I drink Coke Zero after lunch, I don't have any sweet cravings, which is very nice because I always have them. Or coffee, but I feel like coffee for me is too strong in the afternoon because then I can't sleep at night. So I only have my coffee in the morning, which I didn't show you, but I had a coffee in the morning with my breakfast. Dinner is ready, which was so easy and so quick to make. So we have salmon, like some wild caught frozen salmon, some Brussels sprouts, I haven't had them in so long, and pumpkin, because we have so much pumpkin from my mom. So we made some pumpkin wedges, and we made the fish and the pumpkin wedges in the oven, and the Brussels sprouts, we put them in the air fryer. So there are no pans, nothing, we didn't have to do anything, which is my favorite meal to cook, if you can just put everything in the oven and it pretty much cooks itself. So, and I'm also gonna have some ketchup and some mayo on side because I always need my sauces. I don't like things that plain. And for dessert, I'm gonna have some Greek yogurt with frozen raspberries, which I put in a microwave, and they are now like more of a sauce than raspberries, and some cinnamonis on top. I'm not sure if they're called cinnamonis international. Is it cinnamonis in the USA? Okay, so apparently it's cinnamonis worldwide. I don't have a dessert every evening, just depends on how hungry I am. Sometimes I have a snack in the afternoon if there's like too much time between lunch and dinner, and then I usually have, you know, these little protein puddings or protein yogurts that you can buy in the store that are already like with fruit or like flavor inside. But sometimes I like to make myself something like this, although I had like a very long break now from Greek yogurt and everything, because to be honest, most days I'm just too lazy to make something like this, and especially in summer I was just snacking on ice cream. That's pretty much everything that I eat in a day, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.